Hello. I know that if you're watching this, you probably experience some fear or anxiety in your life. But I'm going to tell you something today that is going to change your life. And we always overlook it. But in our childhood, we experienced fear a lot of times when we were experiencing something new, something that we felt that we might not control fully, some kind of situation, maybe some abuse. We had really different experiences. But later, when we are adults, we need to face our fears sometimes, or we can just avoid them, or we can suppress emotions by drinking alcohol, by smoking weed. We find different ways to just quit our emotions. But you can read hundreds of books on spiritual growth, you can do a lot of ayahuasca, but ultimately, what is our best drug is overcoming our fears. But listen to me for a second. The more you neglect your fears, the more you stay in your comfort zone, the more you pretend that you're not afraid of something, the more this fear, this resistance will rise, and later it will be harder for you to overcome it. But guess what? If you will overcome it, you will feel like on drugs. You will feel, oh, I'm Superman. And this is simply drugs, because people are stupefying themselves with different kinds of drugs, with amphetamine, with alcohol, with weed, with different kinds of stimulants. And sometimes we feel that we are missing something in our lives. Sometimes we think that this is love. Okay, it can be. Sometimes we miss basically genuine friendships. It may be. But the question is, if you don't miss this feeling of overcoming your fear, how do you feel when you overcome your fear? Because it's always feeling that you're proud of yourself. And if you're proud of yourself, it's 10 times easier for you to feel happy, to feel fulfilled, and to feel ready, and to not procrastinate. Because what we are doing if we are procrastinating, we are waiting for a perfect moment, for perfect circumstances. But these are just rationalizations of our fear. We are afraid to do something. And I know that this video is very short, but this insight is crucial. That whether you want to grow as a personality or you want to grow spiritually, nothing will give you more benefits than overcoming your fears. And I know that I also took psychedelics in the past. I did different kinds of, rites, just, things to become more spiritually aware, meditations, hundreds of hours of meditations. But you always, if you're going to be 100% honest with yourself, you will discover this, that facing our fears is scary when we don't face them, but it can become your habit. And as Winston Churchill said, that courage is most important, because when you have courage, it activates all good features in you. And it's true, they can be dormant, and you don't know who you fucking are, because you're simply not tackling your fears. And when you conquer your fears, what is happening? you need less sleep, you raise your testosterone. Also, this is funny, because in the past I used to think for a certain period of time that I have a problem with nutrition, that maybe my testosterone is low. But when I approached Best Lady in a gym, wait, for 2 or 3 months I was feeling completely invincible. And this is not about ego satisfaction, but this was simply about overcoming my fear of rejection. And yeah, this is how it works. There are different types of things that people are afraid of, but I would say that most people are afraid of rejection and embarrassment and failure. These are the most popular fears. But you can simply overcome it, but not once, but do it consistently. Because in this way you will energize yourself, and you will create the person that you want to be, or you'll be simply a lot better and spiritually aligned. Because sometimes we do spiritual bypassing, and we think that only through yoga or meditation we'll grow spiritually. But unfortunately, sometimes it's simply doing the hard shit, breaking through these very difficult emotions or traumas. And yes, I think that 90% or even more in people are traumatized. And even though you have trauma, doing scary things, it may arouse very, very difficult feelings in your body, resistance, feeling not even fear, but something 10 times deeper than a fear that you will die, that something very scary will happen. But when you accustom yourself to it, you teach yourself that I can do this even though I'm afraid. And in this way, you're getting rid of learned helplessness, for example, thing that many people with trauma struggle with, especially related to narcissistic abuse. And you know, you can heal your trauma in many ways, by breathing, by psychedelics. But again, are you still avoiding this fear? Are you still avoiding feeling emotions? Are you afraid of emotions? Emotions are within you. Are you afraid of them? Let go. Sit. Remember these moments in which you feel, in which you felt different states: shame, guilt, emotions, and just become friend with your emotions. Understand that there's anything to be afraid about. It's very hard to understand, I know, on the rational level, but once you will experience this on emotional level and you will really feel secure within yourself, this is the moment where this inner peace begins, when you really feel that you can trust yourself and that your emotions are just messengers. You can read this message, or you can basically ignore this message, and when you will do something according to your reason, and you will not listen to your emotions all the time, you can do things that you really, really crave deep in your heart, but you were just, you know, limited, and you were not able to do this because emotions were blocking you. So this is all for today's video. I love you. Bye bye.